Alright, I'm making this video to replace the electric circuit lab from topic 13 in the physics course for those of you that are struggling to get Java to work, because I do, unless you had like something to build circuits with at home, I'm just not sure how else to have you make this up. So the first circuit in problem number 1 in the lab wants a circuit that consists of 2 wires, 1 bulb, and 1 battery. So I'm going to get the battery first, bulb, and then wire. Oh, come on. Why won't it let me grab a wire? Oh, there we go. Just got to click and drag, not just click it. So there's one wire. There's the other one. And then lo and behold, once it's connected, there you can see. So it asks questions about what the blue dots are, what determines the directions of the blue dots. So if you just want to see that, so if I delete the battery so you can see the black ends on the right hand side, I'm just going to pull out a new battery. Now the black wire or the black end is on the left hand side, so you can compare the blue dots there. Okay, for number 2, it says that if we should right click on the battery, and it says we can change either voltage or the internal resistance. We're going to change the voltage first, and we'll just increase the voltage. Okay, and so you can see as we increase and decrease the voltage, you can watch what happens to the behavior. Okay, and then it wants us to increase and decrease the internal resistance. So right now the internal resistance is 0. So as I up the internal resistance, okay, you can watch what happens there. All right, right click one of the wires and remove it. So now it wants me to put in an ammeter, right? So I'll click ammeter. Hold on a minute. All right, so here's my ammeter now. And I can move around to connect to the battery. It won't quite reach the bulb, so I'm just going to grab a new wire. There you go. And now what it wants us to do is to make a graph of current versus battery voltage. So I'm just going to right click to choose the voltage. So that way you can see the voltage off of here. You can see the amps up there. I'm just going to decrease the voltage. And so I'll just give you a couple different volts to graph. So hopefully you can read the numbers off of there. And pause the video as needed to get more data. So that should be plenty to get your data done. Okay. Now it says to make a circuit that has a single loop that contains 2 light bulbs. Okay, and it wants me to check with the voltmeter, so I'm just going to remove this and add another light bulb. So I'll use one wire to connect these two. Not exactly where I wanted it. Another wire. That'll work. Okay. So now we have 2 bulbs, and it wants me to use a voltmeter now to check some different places. So we'll check for the voltmeter on either side of the battery. So there's the volts on either side of the battery. It wants to check the voltmeter on either side of each bulb. So we'll put it here on one side of the bulb, here on the other side. So that's one bulb. Check either side of the other bulb. And ignore the negative, it just means I got these backwards. Okay. Okay, Okay, now it wants me to make a circuit that has 2 bulbs, but is each in a separate loop. I'm just going to reset this. Just get this out of my way. So now I'm going to take one battery, and I need a bulb. So there's one loop, and then here's the other one. So now I've got 2 separate loops, and then it says measure the volts across the battery in each bulb. How does this compare to the answer before? I'm just going to up just to make this better comparison. I forgot I shouldn't have cleared the battery out. Our voltage before was at like 31 about. Probably not that exactly, but close. So I'll measure the 2 sides of the battery. So you can read off there where we're at. Measure the 2 sides of each light bulb. So now there's that, and then the other light bulb. Okay, and I think that should be all you need to answer the lab questions.